What'd I tell you, Derek? A meal fit for a king, or for a chief, at least, right?
This is the best meal I've had in a long time. I want to thank you both for inviting me.
Well, I'm really glad you could come.
Chief, if you want seconds or thirds or even a doggy bag to take home, you just holler. There's plenty more in the kitchen.
Pity the poor bachelor, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
How do you like being single again?
Well, it's got its advantages. But I'll admit sometimes I get a little lonely.
You know, when I think back on my bachelor days, they weren't so bad. I had one rule only that I lived by. Never get involved with another man's wife. Why is everybody so quiet?
They're too busy chewing, Mr. C.
I'm sure you're a lot happier man than I am, Miles. Married to a lovely lady like Nicole.
I'm a lucky man, all right.
Derek, I'm sure you'll meet somebody. Attractive, intelligent men, they don't stay alone for very long.
You don't have a twin sister, do you?
You mean you haven't noticed the resemblance between me and Mrs. C? I'm kidding. Oh, if I were only a few years younger.
You know, Nicole, I knew that you and Derek had gotten to be pretty good friends the past couple of weeks, but I hadn't realized until tonight that you were plotting behind my back.
What are you talking about?
Oh, when you were in here with Mrs. Goodman, setting a table, Derek and I were having a nice little conversation in the living room, and he let me know that you both agreed that you thought that I had been working too hard and probably need a little vacation.
Now, wait a minute. That was my own opinion. Nicole didn't put me up to say that.
Derek even went so far as to suggest it might not be a bad idea if I took a separate vacation.
Now, wait a minute. I think I'm being misquoted here. What I said was, I think you should get away from Monticello. Get away from your work, from everything.
Everything, yeah, you said everything. That means a home, wife and family, includes them. Just about the same thing, isn't it?
No, it isn't. You're joking.
No. Who knows? Might be kind of a change for us.
I don't know. If I had a wife like Nicole, separate vacations would be out of the question. I'd want to spend every minute that I could with her.
Yeah, she is a beautiful woman. Very easy to be with.
This conversation is getting very silly. I assure you, Derek, that there is no chance of us taking separate vacations. I still think of us as being newlyweds.
Oh, come on now. Come on, you gotta admit that I have not been that easy to live with the past few weeks.
Your nerves have been a little bit strained because of too much work and too little rest.
Yes, all right, I am a grouch. Wouldn't you appreciate a few days away from this grouch of a husband?
Don't put words into my mouth. The idea is ridiculous.
Doesn't sound like she intends on letting you go so easily, Miles.
We've had so little vacation time to enjoy together. If we go anywhere at all, we are going hand in hand.
Whatever you say.
Honey, all you need is a little bit of rest and relaxation, and you're gonna be your old lovable self, and I'm gonna be there right beside you to give you all the tender, loving care that you need, and that is that.
Okay, who's for dessert? Pecan pie and the best cup of coffee this side of the Rockies.
Derek, would you like some pie?
I'd love some.
Good.
If you two ever do manage to get away for a little time together, would you take your son with you?
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it. I suppose it depends on where we want to go, and if I can find somebody to take care of him.
Hey, what's the matter with me, Mrs. C?
You're volunteering?
Oh, listen, I've been trying to get you two to go away for ages. You deserve some time together. Go ahead, you make your plans. I'll take good care of that.
It's very nice of you, Mrs. Goodman.
Derek, I'm going to go upstairs and see Adam in just a little while. Would you like to come up and see him again?
I'd love to.
You'll like him. He's a good little kid.
There must be a baby boom in Monticello. I just met Logan's son not too long ago.
Oh, well, Jamie is a baby, but we have a young man.
Well, let's go see him. I want to check out his potential as officer material.
Oh, don't tell me that they have uniforms in toddler sizes with the Monticello PD. Here you go, your
second cup of hot tea with honey. It's very good for you, so drink it all up, enjoy it, like it, and all of that stuff.
Thank you, Mother. I opened the door to the Scots tonight, and instead I get Florence Nightingale and young Dr. Kildare.
We knew you weren't feeling very well, so we came by to cheer you up.
Well, just your visit would have done that. You didn't have to bring dinner and flowers.
Oh, how long will it be before you're up and around?
Oh, I don't know. My fever's gone. I'm a little rubbery-legged. I should be in the office tomorrow the next day.
Hey, take it easy. The one thing you don't need is a relapse.
Well, if it gets me another one of April's home-cooked meals, might be worth it.
Oh, no, wait a second. A healthy Logan Swift is welcome in our house anytime.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let me do that.
No, I can get my own pillow. I'm not incapacitated, you know.
All right, go ahead. You want to be that way? Self-sufficient and macho and all those things will go right ahead.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Don't mind if I do. I do want you to know how thoughtful it is for you two to be here. I really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Just don't get too close.
Oh, just being pampered's not bad. Of course, if I wasn't sick, I'd probably enjoy it more.
If you weren't sick, we wouldn't be here. Oh, come on. I know how lousy it is to be sick. It just makes it a little easier when someone's there to kind of make you more comfortable.
Geraldine has been by my side since my first sneeze. That's another reason I'm glad you're here tonight. Gives her a chance to get off for a while. As a matter of fact, I think she's talking business with your mother.
Oh, yeah? What's that all about?
Well, I'm sure you're going to find out first thing tomorrow morning at the station.
Well, I certainly will. Come to think of it, must be kind of tough on Geraldine taking care of two babies.
Well, she hired a nurse to look after the other baby.
Oh.
Yeah. She was afraid that little Jamie might catch some of my nasty germs, so...
Smart thinking.
We don't need a nurse. All she does is sit in there and read. I think that's the thing I mind most about being sick. I miss tucking the little guy in at night.
Just relax. A couple of days, everything's going to be back to normal.
I guess.
Hey, have you heard from the office? Chances are you're going to be up to your neck in work when you get back.
No, I don't mind. I still can't wait to get back. The thought of reading another magazine. Been through the paper, back to front, done the crossword puzzle. Oh, reminds me. I read a little article. I think you might be interested. Unless you've seen it already.
Oh, if it was in the comics or the sports section, I think he has.
No, this has to do with the senior partner of Seward, Paxton, and Whiteside.
Oh, my old friend David Hansen.
Very same.
Well, now, what did he do to get himself into the newspaper?
He died.
Hansen is survived by his wife and 2 children. What a shame.
Draper, I actually think you're upset.
Never like to hear of anybody dying.
Still, there wasn't any love lost between the two of you, was there?
Never even met the man. That's why it's such a shame. I'm never going to be able to keep that promise I made to myself.
What promise was that?
Have a confrontation with him when he got back from his trip.
Come on,
I
Draper.
wanted to find out why he lied to me, why he was playing games with my life. Looks like I'll never know now.
I thought you were over all of
If
this.
Hansen had had the courage to tell me why he blocked my appointment, I wouldn't feel this way.
Well, look, the man has gone to the great courtroom in the sky now, so you're not going to know. You might as well relax.
Yeah. Still wanted to know what he had against me.
Draper, forget it. The man is dead. The job is taken. Just let bygones be bygones.
Sure. Sure.
Oh, Mike, please. You act as if you expect to see Benny Hayes come up the driveway any minute.
No, I don't think he would do that. Strikes me as the type who would use the back door or a window.
Honey, he's not a second-story man. He's a pusher.
But we know that he must have been hanging around the house or he wouldn't have been able to spot Deborah leaving here.
I still don't understand how that happened. How did the police find out about all that?
Well, that sort of thing is part of their job, isn't it?
It's part of my job to keep the police out.
No, your job was to get the best possible story for your paper. Unfortunately, you picked a lemon.
Oh, please, don't remind me.
Well, it wasn't your fault. Hoodlums seldom come with character references. Now, look, what did he say to you exactly?
As I told you, very little. He said he knows that the police are aware of what he had done.
He didn't threaten you in any way?
No, not at all.
Because if he did, that would be reason enough for Chief Mallory to have him picked up again.
I really would like to know how they found out.
Nancy, that's not important. What is important is to make sure that you never see Benny Hayes again. I'll get that. If it's Benny, I have a few choice words for him. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Karr. I'm glad I caught you in.
Who's this?
Phillip Seward, Mr. Karr. How are you?
Oh, hello, Mr. Seward. How are things in New York?
Well, everything was fine when I left there a couple of hours ago. I just arrived in Monticello. As a matter of fact, I'm still at the airport. I have to meet a client first thing in the morning.
I see.
I was wondering, are you free this evening?
Well, as a matter of fact, I am.
Well, if it's not too much of an imposition, I'd like to stop by to see you and your wife.
Certainly.
I would like to talk to you about David Hansen, the late David Hansen.
Hollow threats, that's all they were.
You're convinced of that?
Of course, she didn't mean a word she said.
Margo's refusing to grant you a divorce. It contradicts everything you've told me.
No, Margo wants a separation as much as I do.
Then why won't she grant you the divorce?
That's another one of her cruel games, turning the screws a little bit tighter every time, exerting every bit of power she has left over me.
You said that she always wanted to be the dominant force in your relationship.
Which found out I wasn't the obeisant husband, the obliging fetch you could lead around on a diamond-studded leash. I quickly fell out of her good graces.
And now she's bitter.
She's jealous, too. Must be jealous. She must have learned that I had found someone, and she was destined to stay alone. She'll come to her senses.
Oh, I'm afraid you don't know very much about women, Elliot. Getting rid of you won't give her nearly the satisfaction that holding on to you will.
What?
Well, what better way to gain a little sweet revenge than to prevent you from having what you want very much?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I take her at her word, Elliot. She says she won't divorce you, she won't. The last thing she's going to do is contribute to your happiness.
Yes. The divorce papers would pave the way, wouldn't it? Just I can't have this. I can't let people pulling the strings like this. I won't stand for it.
Well, then fight.
How? Arm wrestle her for the divorce papers? Even then, she'd probably win. Margo's a street fighter.
In a court of law, Elliot. Demand the divorce.
Those things are messy affairs.
Oh, well, a lot of dirty laundry may be hung out in public display, but that should work to your favor. You did say that the breakup was her fault.
If I did instigate some sort of action, Margo would get the best legal counsel money could buy.
Darling, I know several attorneys who aren't exactly ambulance chasers.
Yeah, but Margo's too clever. You know, she would invent some story. She would have no compunction about that. And the result would not be what we want.
Well, then you'll just have to remain Mr. Margo Huntington.
I can stand it. I won't have that. I must free myself of this woman.
Darling, you know I'll be by your side, but not too close. Margo would definitely use that in her favor.
Nothing will keep us apart.
We don't have to be apart, Elliot.
Listen, I promise you, our wedding day will be the same day my divorce becomes final.
Look, you know, we could just continue as we are. We wouldn't have to go through all those nasty court procedures. We could just simply live together. It's quite fashionable these days.
No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't live like that. I'm sorry.
But why?
Listen, no, I've come to the point in my life where I need emotional security. I need the kind of commitment that marriage provides. I must have you as my wife. Nothing else.
About a year ago, David told all the senior partners that he was suffering from a serious and progressive illness, so his passing away didn't come as any great surprise.
I'm sure you must feel a great loss.
I knew David a lot of years. He was a gifted attorney, a fine man. However, I didn't come here to deliver his eulogy.
But Mr. Hansen is the topic of discussion.
Yes. I thought that you should know about a discussion that I had with David in the hospital a few days before he died.
What did he say?
Well, he told me how terribly he felt about the way that he had treated Draper when he was being considered for a position in our firm.
He had rejected Draper without giving him a personal interview.
And at the time, he thought he had little alternative. He wished the things could have been different.
I'm afraid his belated pangs of guilt will be of little consolation to Draper.
But his remorse was genuine. But you see, he never explained to me the basis for his actions.
Well, you had thought he was doing it as a favor to Margo Huntington.
I had my suspicions. But it was David's wife that filled in the missing pieces of the puzzle.
She was aware of the situation?
David was devoted to his wife. Before he died, he told her the whole story. I imagine to clear his conscience. She felt that I should know.
And do you feel that we should know?
Yes. You see, years ago, David handled all of Margo Huntington's legal affairs. But they also became very close friends. So when she found out that Draper was being considered for the position, she called David to block the appointment.
Because she didn't want her daughter to move to New York.
Well, once April realized how much Draper wanted that job, she was resigned to the move. Margo had no right to interfere.
Yes, and when you confronted David with the issue, Mr. Karr, several months ago, he saw how he was hurting Draper, and that's why he agreed once again to meet him.
But he canceled that, too.
Well, I'm afraid we have Mrs. Huntington to thank for that as well.
I see.
When she got wind of David's change of heart, she blackmailed him into avoiding Draper.
How?
She told David that if he did not make sure that Draper did not get the appointment, she would tell his wife certain facts regarding David's past that would, as she put it, turn him into a bachelor overnight. As I say, David loved his wife. Frances wasn't a well woman at the time. He would have done anything to protect her.
And running off to Europe was his way of avoiding the situation.
Yes. Oh, but also David knew he was running out of time. It was the last opportunity to take his wife on a trip that he'd been promising her a long time.
But he also knew that the job would be filled in the interim.
Well, we kept the job open a long while. We just couldn't afford to wait any longer, and we did have a candidate that was fully qualified.
Draper had his heart set on that job.
Yes, well, with all due respect to Draper, the man that we have now is doing a first-rate job.
If he ever finds out about this.
Oh, no, I don't think that you should tell him. It's just that you two have been so supportive of Draper that I felt that you should know the truth.
Well, I can't say I'm pleased to hear the news, but at least it clears up the mystery.
I do wish there was something I could do to correct the injustice.
Mr. Seward, we've been aware for some time that Margo would go to great lengths to keep her daughter nearby.
Oh, but she's gone too far, Mike. Much too far.
Well, this is a good-looking young man you've got here.
Are you gonna thank the chief for the compliment? Huh?
Maybe he's a strong, silent type.
No.
You never had any children, did you, Derek?
No, my ex was never the type to win Mother of the Year awards.
Nicole is a wonderful mother. If you'd been married to a woman like her, you might have had different thoughts about him.
I think you might be right.
Hate to break up the children's hour here. There's a call for you, Doc.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodman.
Look at those square shoulders he's got. I wouldn't be surprised if he put himself through college on a football scholarship.
Can you play football and be pre-med? Miles swears he has the hands of a surgeon.
Mrs. Wilkes, I really don't think there's any point in my making a house call. I mean, you said little Johnny doesn't have any fever, so... No, it's probably nothing more than a sore throat. I tell you what you do. Just give him a couple of children's aspirins, right? And then in the morning, if he's not feeling any better, you give me a call and I will stop by.
Nicole,
No trouble.
anytime you want to get together
Goodbye.
and talk about that interview I promised to give you, just let me know.
Well, I'll have to look at my appointment book before you leave.
Ah, well, no, I'm flattered that you would make that kind of an offer. Yes, it is short notice, but I'll do my best. Yeah, okay, I'll get back to you. Goodbye.
What's that all about?
Now, talk about coincidences. No sooner do we stop discussing separate vacations, and it looks like I am going to have to take one.
What are you talking
Well,
about?
it's a very important medical seminar being held. That was the coordinator on the phone, and they want me to give a speech.
Sounds like quite an honor.
Yeah, it is. Only thing is that the seminar is being held in Center City. So it looks like I'm going to have to spend a couple of days out of town.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find, always on our mind. In frustrated days pass without sight, the edge of night, half dark, half light, as we watch our hearts trying to hold the tenderness that we once had.